Hey everybody, it's Regan Sample, Longmont area realtor, and today I'm with Pamela Fletcher. She is the owner of Outrageous Baking, which is based out of Longmont. It's a gluten-free bakery. It's all female owned, and I'm excited to be sharing time here and just being able to have you tell us more about your business, why you started it, and I'll just throw it over to you and you tell us about it.
All right. Thanks, Reagan.
Yeah.
Yes, I am the owner of Outrageous Baking. We're a wholesale bakery in Longmont, Colorado. And so that means that we're not open to the public, but you can find a lot of our products at Whole Foods and local coffee shops, and you can order online as well at outrageousbaking.com. Because a lot of people often ask, they're like, where are you located? And I'm like, oh, sorry, you can't drive up to us, but you can get us at the farmer's market too in Longmont and Boulder. So a little bit about me and the company. I've been doing this for 16 and a half years, and I started in my house in Boulder, Colorado, small 820 square foot home, from the need to change the way I was eating. I had a baby at the time who had extreme eczema, and her father was a naturopathic minded individual and practiced naturopathy. And he said, we need to treat her through food and not putting things on her skin or medicine.
Sure.
So that meant I was nursing her at the time. So that meant I had to change how I was eating. And I liked my sugar, and it was a stress relief for me to bake having a newborn. So I started playing around with, gluten is a top allergen.
Sure.
So I started playing around making banana bread and stuff in my small house. And that wasn't turning out too well. So I had to keep doing more research, and I came upon a flour mixture, and I was like, okay, I'll just start trying this out. And we went to visit his aunt in Virginia at the time, and she had a coffee cake there. And I was like, oh, this is really good. Maybe when I go back, I'll try it. So I came back to Colorado, and I tried to make her coffee cake with that flour mix, and it worked. It was delicious.
It's awesome.
And her name was Aunt Kay. So I named my company Aunt Kay's to start. So people that know us from way back when still think of us as Aunt Kay's. They're like, I want Aunt Kay's bread. So I started that, and I had my good friend down the street, Lori, who just found out she was celiac because it was still really new back then, try it. And she's like, wow, this is so good. She said, you should sell this somewhere. I'm like, okay. She's like, there's nothing at the coffee shops. And, my daughter's father was encouraging me to do my own business. I had never done my own business before, never even thought about doing my own business.
Wow.
But I knew that I loved to bake and be in the kitchen because I really have done that all my life.
Yeah.
So I started making these cakes in my house, wrapped on a paper plate in like saran wrap from Costco. I went to coffee shops. I just said, here you go. I went to Brewing Market. I said, here's a free cake. Do you like it? See if your customers will like it. And thankfully, Brewing Market, the woman that managed it, Pat, was celiac herself, and she said, oh my gosh, this is so good, I'd love to try it. So she put them out, sold them, and she's like, we're gonna take them. I'm like, okay, great.
That's
and so
awesome.
it kind of just like snowballed from there. I made it out of my kitchen until I couldn't anymore. Back then, I guess you could, I don't know, kitchen rules, I just did some, and then all of a sudden I got my first rental space not too far from there.
Yeah.
And started there. My daughter came with me, who was like 2 at the time. She helped me bake. She was playing around. Yeah, she was making her own weird creations of like a little chocolate, a little this. We had expanded. First we had coffee cake, then we had pumpkin bread, then we had chocolate zucchini and lemon poppy seed, and now we have 8 flavors. So she would just make up her own little creation and loved that. So we started out there at a little bagel shop. It wasn't gluten-free, but we started in the back, and we worked on off hours when they weren't making bagels, which was wonderful. And I was able to hire my first employee, and then it just kind of grew organically. Coffee shops would call me and said, we'd love to have some of your products. So I would personally deliver until I got another space, and then another space, this space I'm where I am right now in Longmont. So it was very organic the way we grew. I grew how I could and still maintain being a mom of a small child. And because that was always my top priority, was to be her mother and be home as much as I could. I didn't want to go to an office and leave her in daycare. I really wanted to be a mom. So if anyone ever asked me why I started this business, one, obviously I had to make I had to make money, but two, I really wanted something that I was passionate about, and also that allowed me to be the mother that I wanted to be. And I believe that driving force really helped me to be successful, because I wasn't driving necessarily the dollar. I wasn't driving to sell. I was driving to have a lifestyle business.
Yeah.
My daughter could come and she could help out. She helps me at the farmers markets when she was little, so she learned so many life skills through that process. Yeah, and hearing me on the phone and stuff. So she's an integral part of the business still. She does my social media. She's 19 years old. We're coming out with a cookbook, and she in a few months, and she did like all the photography. I did all the recipes. So that'll be with our flour that we sell, which is this flour. It's hard to see, it's a little bright, but that's our flour. And so yeah, it's kind of our synopsis of our story. Obviously,
yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, there have been challenges along the way, but here we are still 16 and a half years later.
See, and that's the way to do it, just bit by bit and growing as you grow. And yeah, I can definitely relate to that too. My kids are getting bigger. That time never comes back, and it goes so quick.
Yep.
And I think like what you said too, it's a valuable lesson that your daughters had too, seeing you do that work, being a part of that work, and learning from it and feeling it. And so you've really instilled, I think, a lot of value that it doesn't come from other places. So that's a pretty cool story. So, okay, cool. So you're both, people will find you at both Saturdays at the farmers market, and then they can order online. How about if they're out and about, how can they find out if they're craving your stuff and they, are looking for it? Do you have a list of where your stuff?
Yeah, we do have a locator on our website. I wouldn't say it's always up to date, because like any business owner, you can only do so much, juggle so many balls in the air. So it's not always up to date, but it's pretty good. So I would say, Whole Foods locally has it all the way down to Denver and Colorado Springs, Fort Collins, and some Safeways and some natural grocers, but I can't list those off the top of my head. I always say call first before you go if you're making a special trip.
Sure.
But it's always easy to order online. We give 15% off your first order. You can spin the wheel and get a bigger discount. And then it comes pre-wrapped, pre-sliced, 8 slices in each loaf. You can put it in the freezer, slack it out when you want. It's probably the most fresh that way, because it's coming directly from our bakery. So that's always a great way to order. Yeah, or the farmers market too, when you come by. But we're all around the country, and probably 35 states, and in some coffee shop somewhere. Yeah. I love when I was just talking to someone from New Jersey yesterday, and they have our bread there, and they said, we got visitors from Colorado. They're like, oh my God, you have that bread. So
that's funny.
Yeah, we've hit a bunch of coffee shops all across the United States, from California to New York and all in between. So
yeah, that's cool. So, coming into holiday season, so can people order from you to send to friends or family across the country?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we have, it makes a great holiday gift. We have a variety pack, so you can try all 8 flavors. We also have a vegan gluten-free line. So if anybody and your friends and family can't do eggs, our regular breads are gluten and dairy free, so no casein, which means milk, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But our vegan gluten-free line is a step up, where it doesn't have any casein and it doesn't have eggs, because a lot of people said they can't do eggs. So I was like, okay, I try to create something without. So the only difference is one has eggs, one doesn't. So that has a variety pack as well, and that makes a really good gift.
I think that's awesome. Just something that's a different gift too, and something that you can share with people, because I think we all know people are looking for different things. If it's dietary needs, they need to avoid certain things, or dietary wants, where they want to change what they're doing and they have a hard time in other areas. We're pretty lucky for people that have those needs and wants in our area here in Boulder County and surrounding area. Yeah, so it's kind of neat to know we can share that outside of it. And it's really cool to hear people are finding your products out in New Jersey and telling you about it. So,
yeah. And so our products, they look like, I didn't have too many samples here, believe it or not, but like we sell in like the whole loaf, which is like, it's a little bright, like I said, but it's a small loaf. These are in stores, these small loaves, like Whole Foods. Cool. They're 11 ounces. We sell them at farmers market too. The typical way that we sell as well, though, is in a pre-wrapped slice, and it's like this, but you get 8 slices in a whole loaf, or you can find these at the coffee shops. So these are just like grab and goes. So that's how that works. This is what we sell online.
What would you say what do you hear from customers that love most about your products?
They love how like moist it is and flavorful. We use real lemon oil, high quality chocolate. So in our products, so they just love the really full flavor that they feel, and also that everyone can eat it. I always say it's gluten-free for everyone. So even that person that is like gluten-free, it's all dry and gross, they don't have to tell them it's gluten-free. I mean, my biggest taste testers were my parents back east, who they don't buy anything organic or natural. And
Sure.
so, I sent them some product and like, whoa, this is great. I'm like, okay, if they like it, anyone can like it. So yeah, I think that's the biggest compliment. Or people that have said, my son or daughter who's young, they ask for this every day. We go to a coffee shop, they're like, is that bread there? That outrageous bread there, I want that one. And some people only came to the farmer's market, little kids in pajamas would come. They're like, this is the only reason I could get my son or daughter out of bed, because they could come here and get your bread. I'm like,
see, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. And I think what you said too, for, time that I've worked in grocery stores or other, just knowing people, I know that one of the biggest challenges for people buying gluten-free products is having it moist and having it like, like you might hear someone, like you said, someone that's like, oh, gluten-free, and like, oh, that's just cardboard. So I mean, it says a lot too. You're making your recipes and you're coming up with these, and it is something that's driving people to, this is how I got my kids to come with us today. So that's pretty. That's a great testimonial.
It is. It's always good. I don't work the farmers markets very much personally, but it's always good when I go to keep hearing those things, because it keeps you going. Because as a business owner, after 16 years, sometimes you have those struggles of, with rising costs and stuff happening with supply chain. It can be a struggle to sometimes keep going, and just knowing that there are people out there. I have fans all around the place.
Yeah.
It makes me, it has to be really heart-centered, and know that I'm, helping people in some way make their day a little brighter, or their son or daughter, or their family or friends, or their college student, smile a little bit. So that always makes me feel good.
There you go. Definitely something. And when you're in baking and that people are coming for it, like, it's that smile at the end result that keeps you going. So
absolutely.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm glad to have a chance to talk to you and learn more about your business. So check out Outrageous Baking. You can order online. You can direct ship to friends and family, Longmont and Boulder farmers markets, or Whole Foods, some of the natural grocers, some of the other grocery stores, some of the coffee shops. So check it out. Check out the store locator. Call ahead if you're making a special trip. But after 16 years and going strong, congratulations to you. And so Pamela Fletcher and Outrageous Baking, thanks for telling us more.
Thank you so much, Regan.